Welcome to the ExtraTime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast. We have reached the mid-season break. Some managers like it, but some don't. What do you think? Let us know now on @ExtraTimeNews or @Oisín Coming up, Shelbourne manager Damien Duff expresses his dislike for the break and shares his thoughts on the takeover at Tolka Park and what it might mean. There was also a game of football at Tolka last night, and Mark Rossiter will provide analysis of Shels' 1-1 draw with Sligo Rovers. We've also got former Cork City striker John O'Flynn on the Leesiders' 2-1 defeat to Dundalk, the club's management team and the development of the women's team. Stephen O'Donnell and Richie Holland also spoke to us after the game. As well as all that, we've got Stephen Bradley, Paul Crowley on the Drogs win over St. Pat's, and former Derry and Bohs player Gareth McGlynn on the draw between his two former clubs at the Ryan McBride Brandywell. We'll start with Shelbourne, and before we hear from Damien Duff, who spoke to a media gathering that included Philip Quinn of the Irish Daily Mail, John Fallon of the Irish Examiner, Owen Cowser of the Irish Sun and Paul Butner, let's get analysis of the game with former Bohemians player Mark Rossiter, who was there for Ocean FM, and afterwards he sent us this voice note.
Probably a fair result, nightmare start for Rovers. Cross came in, deflected off Nando. None of the defenders reacted, probably thought it was going out of play. John Boyd reacted quickest, kept it in play on the end line. Managed to get turned, pulled the ball back to Maddie Smith, who finished at the near post, wrong foot, and McNicholas. Maddie Smith went off then, I think, on something like the 19th minute. And it seemed like from there, Shels went a bit flat for the rest of the first half, apart from about 15 minutes to go. Danny Lafferty in good possession of the ball, played a blind pass to McNicholas and actually played Jack Moylan in. McNicholas stayed big, huge chance for Shels. Didn't convert, and in doing so allowed Rovers, to go back in the ascendancy in the first half. They were very dangerous from set pieces. Nando Pinecker should have scored. Had a gilt-edged chance 8 yards out, free header in the box from a corner from Branna Falk. Headed it over when it should have been a goal. From a corner then, cross from the other side, Branna Falk played it in, it was cleared out. Landed to Moran on the edge of the box, takes it on his chest, volleys top corner. Wonderful strike. Go in at half time, 1-1. And then in the second half, it was all Shels, possession-wise, created very little for the whole half. Which would be a disappointment for Damien Duff, obviously. But yeah, they moved the ball really well, but they just couldn't get behind the back three of Danny Lafferty, Nando and John Mann. So huge for Rovers to have John Mann and Nando back in their team. Pinecker was huge at the centre of the defence. And then when it went into injury time, albeit that Rovers didn't create too much, let's say, or didn't have much possession in the second half, 2 minutes into injury time, cross went into the box from Branna Falk again, free header, and Jack Moylan cleared off the line. Then from there, another cross came in, and Max Madden managed to get his head on the ball, probably the only chance he had in the whole game. Free header, last kick of the game, let's say, or last head of the game, and he heads it off the upright. So it finishes 1-1 on the night, which I think is a fair result. Shels dominated possession, but the more gilt-edged chances Rovers had. But 1-1 on the night.
You could see them smelling blood for set pieces, but outside of that, I don't think they offered much. Which speaks volumes, I guess, about our performance, because they've top players in the league. I think it was all about us with the ball tonight, their threat sets. Outside of that, I thought we played well. Like I said, I know a lot of Philip and the guys who've been here a lot this season. It's maybe scruffy at times and end-to-end like a basketball match, whereas I think a lot of the game was played second half and this half, first half down there. So that's penning them in, good with your structure, moving the ball, but it's that final third, and that's why I said to the attacking lads, that's why attacking boys, when you do it week in, week out, you get paid the most money. And I thought there was an air of scruffiness about us at the top end of the pitch today. Frustrating, because it frustrates people, it frustrates the fans, but like I said, it's a massive plus that we dominated the game. But the break is a strange one. I've said it there with Steve. Why is there a break? I don't know. I'm waiting for somebody to tell me. The whole of the league will be in Dublin Airport tomorrow on their jollies. I want to go in training tomorrow, and I want to play St. Pat's this Friday. It's coming, not in a fortnight's time. So I'm still waiting to figure out why there's a break. So you can say, good, it is in a way, but I don't want a break. We'll give them time off. But listen, I've been firm with the lads the way I'm speaking to now, and I hate poor, weak mentality. So if they come back anyway out of shape, overweight, their fat percentage is up, anyway off it next week in training when they are eventually back in. I'm coming for them. Monetary, whatever way I can. If they're late, if they miss a flight coming back, they'll be getting it. So like I said, I don't want a break, so I'll be looking to punish them any way I can.
Just to talk about the takeover, investment is due. Will you be able to strengthen? Have you been told what finances might be available for you?
Yeah, you can obviously look at obviously some big players and what have you, but I believe we're doing a press conference whatever in a week or two, so we'll speak more then. But all I'll say is I absolutely believe, I always tell this to players anyway, Shelbourne, when I'm trying to sign them, sorry Phil, I absolutely believe Shelbourne FC, Tolka Park's a really exciting place to be for the past 18 months, and this takeover just makes it more exciting. It's very simple for me.
Have you spoken to the new chairman yet?
I met him a while back, and I obviously met the chief exec, Tan, as well. So they're great guys. They've high ambitions for the club. Glanced over the media stuff today, but my thing was Sligo. I had no real interest in reading it. But I know there'll be, people Europe and this and that. I've been talking about Europe, so nobody. I know you guys will think there'll be pressure on Damien now. Nobody can put more pressure on Damien Duff than myself, that I do already. So for me, it's the biggest job in the world, and nothing's changed.
Does it change your role? Because I know they spoke about synergy with Cork City as well, so I don't know what that means yet. I don't know.
Oh, they've been amazing. They're great guys to speak to, and already, I think it was officially signed off maybe earlier on in the week. I came to them, an existing player here, big player for us. Need to get him done, need to get him tied down, and it's done, and it'll be announced on Monday. So I think it's a great sign, a great signal for times ahead. The player you don't need to know, but it's a big player. They're highly ambitious, motivated men, so they've come to the right place, because I am as well. Joey is, the staff, the board, the squad, so it's a good connection between everyone. Some players come, they go. Some July if we strengthen, whatever. I love the boys, I told them before the game, and we'll continue to fight and improve, and like I said, the position to pounce. But all I'm saying is it's an exciting place to be, Shelbourne, and after today's news you'd say markedly more exciting.
This is the ExtraTime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast, and that was Damien Duff on takeovers, breaks and his team's performance in last night's 1-1 draw with Sligo Rovers. Let's move south now to Turner's Cross, where Dundalk overcame Cork City 2-1. City went in front through an Ainsley own goal before Ryan O'Kane equalised direct from a corner just before half-time. That's a real Dundalk person trick, isn't it? Because Steve Staunton used to be able to do that. John Martin scored with what I'd call a reactive header. It kind of bounced up towards him and he reacted well to it to steer it past Corcoran in the goal. That gave the Lily Whites a 2-1 victory. We'll hear from Stephen O'Donnell and City interim boss Richie Holland, who spoke to Rory O'Hagan of Red FM shortly. But first, I had a chat with former Cork City striker John O'Flynn, and I started by asking him how he was.
All good, thanks. Well, disappointing result here. I was on Cork commentary tonight, and we just never showed up in the second half. Really positive start to the game. Went 1-0 up, so we'll be bitterly disappointed, especially going into the break now after a loss.
Talk to me about that second half, because City were on top in the first half and had a lot of chances. Dundalk perhaps were lucky to be going in at the break, tied at 1-1 after that goal went in what we think was straight from the corner. And then they owned the second half. They owned the football in the second half. They took the one chance that came to them. Wasn't a particularly well-worked chance. The cross came in, it kind of hit off, I think, Elliott, deflected up, and John Martin steered it in with his head. He took the goal well. It was somewhat fortunate that it broke that way to him, but he took it well. But how did Dundalk gain such control in the second half, and how could Cork City just not get into the game at all?
Yeah, the points you made there, I think the chances we had in the first half, we have to make at least another one of those count. If you're going in at 2-0 rather than 1-1, total different game. I think the way we even felt it here, I was saying to Rory in commentary, it seemed to deflate us. They did score direct from a corner, which was unbelievably whipped in.
Ryan O'Kane.
Ryan O'Kane, yeah, really deflated City, and we never recovered from that. You could see Dundalk ran in to the tunnel for half time. We were walking in, talking to each other, and then Dundalk just started, on the front foot second half, and we never really got a foothold in the game at all.
And for Cork City, it's worked well. It might very well work for Inter Milan in the Champions League final against Man City tomorrow night. You have Dzeko and I forget who else is up top. They kind of work together. That's right, yeah. So here it's Tunde and Rory Keating. It worked in the first half, didn't really work in the second half. They looked isolated. Cork City couldn't get the ball up to them, and when they did, they were surrounded. They just couldn't work chances. It just goes to show maybe how, and look, this might seem harsh considering it's one game we're judging off, how limited the squad is when that one tactic doesn't work.
Yeah, that's true. It was a good fight in the first half, but you can't keep using the same string all the time. You have to kind of mix it up, and we probably didn't retain possession enough in the second half. When we did win it back, we weren't able to hold it. You've the likes of Patrick Hoban there, who you're nearly guaranteed he's going to hold the ball up when it goes into him. He brings players in around him, and they really got the foothold in the second half. They made a few good substitutions. Tulloch looked decent when he came on. He looked a threat, but yeah, bitterly disappointed after such a good run from City.
What about Dundalk? They came here and they won. They didn't do that earlier in the season. They were disappointed with how they performed. They won't be disappointed tonight. Talk about the good things they did.
Yeah, I think we played 3. They had a lot of Leahy and Kane had a lot of possession there in the first half. They were dangerous down the right hand side in the second half. They really made use of that. We had probably a 5 or 6 minute spell there where Coleman went off, and I was thinking we're weathering the storm, but they just kept coming. They were turning the screw. And eventually, good centre forward play. We could say, it was a ricochet off a Cork City player, but first to react was the centre forward for Dundalk, Martin, who headed it in. So, positives for Dundalk. You can see Stephen O'Donnell there really pushing them on. There was a high press. He had them working really, really hard. They really wanted that win tonight. And I don't, brilliant Cork City faithful again, cheering us on, but we couldn't recover from that goal in late in the first half.
And could City not have done what Dundalk did? They continually kind of went wide, and O'Kane did well on this right side in the second half and got balls in, and they tried the left hand as well. Could City not do that? Because they had good players out wide. Kostovic and I forget who was on the other side, but Kostovic delivered some quality in the first half, not so much in the second.
Yeah, Kostovic and O'Donovan was on the left hand side. We didn't really go down the left. It's more on the right in the first half. But as we were saying there, we can't keep playing the same way, and I think Dundalk mixed it up well. Hoban was dropping in, holding the ball, linking play. I think we just didn't do that in the second half. And we just couldn't get a foothold from there. Balls were coming off us. We're giving cheap free kicks away in final thirds, and just disappointing. We tried to make substitutions to gee us up, but it didn't work. And I think Dundalk's substitutions in the end were kind of better than City's.
I guess City are disappointed tonight. But if you told Liam Buckley and Richie, who are the management team until the end of the season now, that they're going to win 4 games out of every 5, which they have done in the last kind of 5 games from here to the end of the season, they would take that, wouldn't they?
Definitely, yeah. It's a different kind of looking City team. First half, we definitely showed glimpses of that. Second half, we just need to regroup from there. As I say, when you're going into the break, you want kind of positives. We're coming in off a very, very good run. It's just disappointed tonight, but it's about regrouping now on the training pitch and try and get back on winning ways. Is
the break a good thing or a bad thing for Cork City at the moment?
It's probably a bad thing now after having a loss. You want to get back on the horse straight away. I think it's away to Derry is the first game back from the break, so it's going to be a tough ask there, and then a big game here at the Cross after that. Drogheda,
yeah.
So
who won tonight?
Yeah, who's done very well, and Sligo drew, so it was a chance for City to maybe leapfrog there. We just didn't capitalise on that, but all credit to Dundalk. They came here and they won today.
Let's talk about your expert position, striker. We'll talk about Patrick Cuban first. Equalled Joey Donnelly's record last week. Didn't manage to break it this week, but it's only a matter of time. From one striker to another. Game recognises game, as they say. What do you like about him? What makes him so good?
I think he's a well-rounded player. He can drop in, he can take the ball, he can hold it up, he can link, he can also go in behind, and he's a great finisher. You even see for the goal there, he's always looking to get on the end of things. He tried a speculative overhead kick. It came off a City player, and Martin, as we said, was onto it. But he gives him the kind of well-roundedness that you don't really see from a centre forward. Who can come short, hold it up, and go in behind and score goals as well. So all credit to him. He's still playing. He's still flying, and we're probably glad he didn't break the record here at City tonight. And he was given a bit to the shed as well when they got the second goal. So
yeah.
But that comes with the game.
That's right. Yeah. Well, they were giving a bit to him as well. What about Rory Keating? A different kind of striker to what you were, but as effective. Is he the kind of guy that you would love to have played with?
Yeah, he has the foil there with Tunde who runs the legs off the defence. They're linking up really well. I was saying there in the first half, he probably won 9 out of 10 headers. Aerially, he's very good. and he's getting a supply line. We probably missed Joe tonight, Joe Whitmarsh. Even maybe the last 20 minutes, he must have been obviously sore if we didn't deploy him to kind of create something in the last 20 minutes. And he's been the foil. It's just we're looking for a supply line for the likes of Keating, who's, a sniffer in the box, and he's been getting some great goals recently. Nothing kind of fell for him clear tonight. You'd probably say Tunde had the best chance where a cross from the right hand side came in, and the keeper made probably a really good first save, but another save as well. But been really impressed by Keaton. He just needs to keep going on and keep scoring the goals. I think he's 8 goals now so far, so again it's double figures and plough on from there.
What are you thinking? Are you thinking Cork will be alright? Cork City will be alright?
Yeah, I think they definitely will be. A little blip tonight, but as you said, if the lads, the lads coming in there, and you were saying 4 out of 5 wins, they'd probably bite your hand off.
And Jono, you're with the women's team now. You're working with Danny Murphy, who is the Cork City women's team manager. So you are involved in the club. I appreciate that means that maybe you're limited in what you can say, but I'll ask you anyway. It does seem like Richie, Holland and Ian Buckley are going to be the management team for the rest of the season. Is that a good thing because it provides just that bit of certainty?
I definitely, and especially with the results. Like if you're changing things again, a new management team with new ideas, I think the lads know what to expect now from this team. Yeah. So I think it's a positive move, and there's good lads in there. They deployed Liam Carney's involved as well. A City legend. So there's good stock there, and they've got the results playing that way. Obviously, as I said, a blip tonight, but there's a bit of stability there now.
Yeah. And how are things going with the women's team? Yourself and Danny got involved. Results-wise, it's been a struggle, but I can actually see the work and evolution that's going on with that team, and you're kind of getting there. It takes a while, but you are getting there.
Yeah, it definitely takes a while, and they're a great bunch of girls. We've had great support here, and game by game we're getting there. Just the results haven't gone our way. We were 1 down against DLR in last Saturday. Missed a penalty, and we were on the ascendancy at that stage. Things like that haven't been going with us, but they're a really young bunch. We just need to keep it positive and keep them learning. I think a couple of wins would be massive for confidence.
And that is true. The youth thing, that is such a big factor, isn't it?
Yeah, and we've fantastic coaches coming in now in the under-17s and under-19s, and that's only holding strong for girls who are coming through now. So we just need to, there's a lot of young girls there who we're still kind of showing basics to. So, but week by week we can see it. We're getting there. It's just about turning those good performances into results now. And
just before I let you go, how important is it for those young girls to see that a lot of players that they're coming up against, and players they've come up against in recent times, and players who have come from this league and clubs in it, some of those players are going to a World Cup? How much of a carrot is that for these players? How big a boost is that for these players? Or does it have any kind of material impact on this bunch of players and the players in the Women's Electricity League generally?
Yeah, it's fantastic to see, and the ladies' game is getting really, really big. You can see the support here. A lot of underage girls teams are coming to watch the girls, and they are the best of the crop in Ireland. That's what we're always saying to them. They're basically the best of the best. So even I'm going back a long time ago now, but when Pat Dolan came into Cork City at our stage, he was telling us like there's no ceiling on why aren't you playing for the senior national team, and our lads in the dressing room went on to play. Joe Gamble got senior cap, Alan Bennett, the likes of Kevin Doyle and Shane Long. So there's no reason why them girls who are seeing the likes of Denise O'Sullivan and Katie McCabe's and all of those, even players going across channel to the UK, they're playing for the at the best. They're playing at the highest level basically in Ireland. So the next step is the UK or is foreign soil, and is close. We have girls there who are playing for under 17s, under 19s, Irish squads already, and who are scoring, who are doing really well. So we just need to keep on to them and do as best as possible on the training pitch, and hopefully, as we say, results mean a lot. So for us, can we get some results in the next kind of couple of weeks?
Stephen O'Donnell, Dundalk head coach, a 2-1 victory here at Turner's Cross against Cork City. You must be very, very satisfied with that result.
Yeah, I am. I thought second half performance was very good, played with intent, and we dominated, and I thought we deserved to win. So, obviously Monday, Friday, the target was 6 points before the break. We've got that, so I'm delighted. And now we just need to reassess and make sure we're going to be better in that when we come back after the break.
What did you do, especially in the second half, that earned you the results?
No, I think we still played, but I just felt the way Cork play, obviously, when the energy in that died down a little bit, we could exploit them in wide areas at certain points. I thought we did. That was important. Then we got in the wide areas, we finished with things, and we got crosses in the box, like we got off the winner, and we just played in their half, and we protected ourselves against their counter well, and we got a good foothold of the game, but we were finishing with things, and when you finish with things, you make teams defend, you make them drop deeper, and obviously to gradual effect, it's harder for them to get out, and I thought we done that well second half.
Boyle back, Sloggett back, Daniel Kelly back, 2 wins in a row. No coincidence that you're getting victories and you're getting players back.
Yeah, we're getting players back. Louis, honestly, he's been terrific the last 2 games as well. He's had a really tough time, hasn't played since the 3rd game of the season, went through a really tough time from a health point of view. He's back. He'll be coming up obviously against Ireland and the Aviva for Gibraltar. So we're starting to look fuller, we're starting to look more competitive, and we've good options now, as you saw off the bench. I thought Conor Malley, Rayan and John Martin, obviously with the winner, I thought they all made very good impacts when they came on.
Is the break a good thing or a bad thing now?
2 ways of looking at it, but we can reassess now. We're in a bit of a rhythm, but also can give them a little breather, and we can take stock and say, right, let's come back better and stronger.
And do you have a specific plan for the break, or what way does it work?
Yeah, they'll have a few days off, they'll have their programmes, and then we'll be back at the back end of next week, train over the weekend and be ready to go then for obviously this day 2 weeks in the Loud Derby.
And are you hoping to have a few more bodies back after that break, or what's the situation?
No, probably not in regards where we're at. Just trying to we have a few bodies. Yeah, well, sorry, I was thinking of the main ones, maybe Robbie Benson and John Mountney, but everyone else apart from that will be back. Alfie Lewis, Robbie McCourt in that post break.
And will you get a break yourself, or will you do nothing but think?
Legoland and Billand in the morning with the 2 kids. So
that doesn't sound like much of a break, I'll be honest.
No break. That's even more intense than here. But that's my plans, leaving at 5:45 tomorrow morning or tonight, whatever way you want to look at it. So, sometimes you have to just toe the party line and go with the family. So that'll be it. That'll be me till Wednesday. So looking forward to that, good moments too with little kids and your wife. But as you said, it'll be all action.
Stephen, thanks. Well done tonight.
Thanks.
Yeah, disappointing result. I thought we were flat. I thought the performance wasn't up to what we've been doing recently in the run of games that we've won and stuff. And maybe that's down to a number of factors. As I spoke about before the game, we're a bit thin as a squad, and we're asking lads to go to the well, quite a bit and stuff. And I just felt that just lacked a little bit of sharpness tonight, But look, overall, the last period, the boys have been fantastic, and they still worked away hard there again tonight, and they look to get the equaliser at the end of that. But look, when you break it down, Dundalk dominated long periods of the game with the possession, and they pinned us into the back 5. Then you look at the moments, probably Tunde's moment, to make it 2-0 was a big moment in the game, and that's probably maybe the difference there. Then coming in at half time, maybe 2-0, and we maybe don't concede that goal before half time, which again, we could look back at it, we should do much better than that.
Yeah, going Friday and Monday fight is never easy either.
No, it's not. But look, it's the same for every squad. But look, it's just, look, we'll have to reassess it and have a look at it and stuff out, because they weren't at that intensity tonight, and that was probably the most frustrating part of it for me, and we're asking the boys there isn't to get crosses into the box and so on, and I didn't think we did that enough.
Is the break coming at a good time for you, so do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Look, you see, like Gordon Walker pull out in the warm up. We've like Ali's kind of had niggles, and we've 1 or 2 more as well. So we've asked boys to play through the pain barrier, and it's probably come to the fore tonight, a little bit, where we're just a little bit off it, and in this league, you keep saying if you're not at it, that like there's good teams, good players will punish you.
This is the extratime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast, and that was Richie Holland, the Cork City interim boss, speaking to Rory O'Hagan of Red FM following last night's 2-1 defeat to Dundalk at Turner's Cross. Before that, you heard from John O'Flynn and of course Stephen O'Donnell. Now, Shamrock Rovers are 6 points clear at the top following their 4-0 win over UCD. Jack Byrne, Graham Burke and Kieran Cruz with the goals for the Hoops. Harvey O'Brien scored an own goal. Do you say for the students or against the students? I mean, he was playing for UCD, but he scored for Shamrock Rovers. Anyway, whatever way you put it, it was an own goal. Afterwards, Stephen Bradley spoke with the media, including extratime.com's Andrew Dempsey, about the performance, the youngsters, and why they're glad of the break with a very busy period to come.
Yeah, I thought we were very good. I thought we've obviously had a big week, 2 tough games, and tonight was about staying at them levels and not coming off them. And I thought we did that. We played some good football, good tempo, scored some good goals, and obviously got the 3 young boys as well on the pitch at half time, which was really important. Yeah, it's great. He's been out ill for the best part of 2 months, Kieran. He hasn't been able to train, so he's had a tough time, but it was great to get him back training the last few weeks and then get him on the pitch. He came on against Dundalk and did well, and he's still learning the game obviously, but it was great to get him on the pitch and score a goal, so nice little reward for him. I think our record with young players is really, really good. There's no doubt the young players have to be at a really good level to play here, but that's the standards that we set, and we'll keep driving that. But when young players are ready and good enough, we've shown they get their opportunity and they play here. Conan is a player of real ability, Kieran, and obviously Darrett's one that's slightly different. He's been out on loan and done his work. So, like I said, it's hard to play here, but it should be hard to play at the best club in the country. Yeah, we're in a strong position, and I always feel it's about getting this team to the break in a decent position, within touch and distance off the top. We've always felt that, and we feel if we're there, second half we get really strong. Everything we do in pre-season's geared for peak in second part of the season, and we've done that the last few years, so we're in a strong position. But we know coming back, players need time off, but when we come back it's about focus and really go up the levels, because I feel we've shown real signs of it, but we can really go up the levels, I feel, this thing. Yeah, I always get them time off. I think it's important. I said yesterday we played 54 games last year, competitive games, short season. The players had just over 3.5 weeks off. I think they need this time, because we know second part of the season it's busy, hectic, a lot of big games, and you demand a lot of them every day, physically as well as mentally. So they'll have that time off, and they should go and enjoy it and really switch off, spend time with whoever, friends, family, whoever they're with.
Stephen, you mentioned, I think, peaking at this time of the year. Is that a mentality thing? Is it, or is it just the way you set up the squad, or how does?
No, when you train, you have to train to peak at a certain time,
right.
And we train in January to peak mid-season, so it's we've always done that, and I've said if we can get this group to the break within touch and distance off the top, whoever it is at that point in time, we know we get stronger after the break, and now obviously we're top. I feel there's so much more to come for this group after the break. I really think we can go through the levels after the break.
This is the ExtraTime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast, and that was Stephen Bradley speaking after a Shamrock Rovers 4-0 win against UCD. Some managers don't like the break, some managers do. He's one of the ones that does like the break, and they've built it into their plan for the season. It was interesting, wasn't it, to hear him talk about learning from the mistakes of last year. They had a very busy period last year, and while they won the league, the season wasn't as good as it could have been for them. And I just love that isn't good enough for Stephen Bradley, and he wants more out of this season. Right, still to come, Gareth McGlynn on Derry's draw with Bohemians. But first, here is former Drogheda United player Paul Crowley on Drogheda's 2-1 win over St Pat's at Weavers Park. He was on duty for LMFM and LOI TV. Afterwards, he sent us this voice note.
Flat enough first half, neither team really getting a foothold in the game. Drogheda did take the lead after about 20 minutes with Adam Foley with an audacious volley and a contender for goal of the season, if not goal of the month winner. Ball punched out by Linus from a corner from Drogheda United, unable to be cleared. Dale Rooney then just clipped the ball in around the back edge of the box, where Adam Foley watched the ball completely, caught it on his volley with his laces, and Linus, no chance, sailed into the corner of the net. Drogheda United leading 1-0. Looked like that was going to be the lead coming up to half-time in the 43rd minute, when Ryan Brennan was adjudged to push Chris Forrester. Was kind of hard to see because they were actually away from where the ball was travelling to, so not a lot of people seeing it. The referee had no hesitation to point to the spot. Up stepped Chris Forrester, who gave Wogan no chance, waited till he moved to the right and just slotted the ball in the goalkeeper's left. So into the break we went at 1-1. Pat's quite disappointing in the first half, never really got a foothold in the game. You thought you might get a reaction in the second half off them. Again, the game started very lively in the second half. Both teams really having a go. The game opened up really well, and both teams just felt that the game was there to be won. So really exciting second half. Didn't look like then there was going to be any real chances. Dale Rooney had an outstanding curling shot, just tipped over the bar from Linus again, which looked like it was going to be the last decisive chance of the game. And then Pats got a free kick in the 94th minute. Stoppage was put up for 3 minutes, but there was a lot of substitutions made as well. Game looked like it was going to play out with a share of the spoils. Pats got a free kick on the edge of the box. Drogheda then broke from it. Dale Rooney on the right hand side, Daryl Markey broke up the pitch. Referee Pats fans were a bit livid that there wasn't a free kick given just before, but Markey travelled up the pitch, squared it to Dale Rooney, who squared it back to him. Could he put it away? He showed great composure, something I asked questions of him in the first half about taking responsibility. He sure did that in the 95th minute and slotted the ball past Linus. There wasn't any time for Pats to come back into the game or get a chance. It was the last kick of the game. Ecstatic scenes here from the Drogheda United bench with Kevin Doherty leading the charge over to the home support, who made great noise here tonight. Great travelling support, let it be known as well, from St Patrick's tonight. But it's Drogheda United who, with a much needed win going into the break after being beaten twice in the last 2 games. And Pats will be disappointed tonight, but overall their form has been good going into the break also. But Drogheda United come away with the 3 points tonight.
Gareth McGlynn here reporting from the Ryan McBride Brandywell Stadium, where Derry City and Bohs played out a 0-0 draw. Derry, of course, coming off that horrendous performance on Monday night away to St Pat's, where of course they picked up 2 injuries. Patrick McElhinney, the influential captain, as well as Michael Duffy. But it was great news for Derry when everyone saw Michael Duffy's name on the starting team sheet. Of course, Akintunde started up front for Bohs. He was a fan's favourite while at Derry City. He made 87 appearances, scoring 16 goals. So let's hope that the Derry City defence can keep Akintunde quiet tonight. Game started quite evenly, both teams kind of testing each other out, and then on the 17th minute there was the first big chance land to the feet of Cian Kavanagh. After a strong goal scoring performance on Monday night, you would think the big striker would do better. It was a cross in from Diallo, and Kavanagh was wrestling with the centre half. He got there in front of him, he hit a sweet volley. Talbot was rooted to his goal line and it just went past the post. Then on 20 minutes the Derry faithful were on their feet and shouting for a red card. The ball was headed on by Graydon in the middle of the park, and it just bounced in between Nowak and Kavanagh, only for what looked like Nowak's left hand come out to stop the ball getting through to Kavanagh. He stopped right away, arms in the air, asking Damien McGrath to show the red card and award a free kick. Of course, no red card and no free kick. The referee waved play on. Then on 27th minute, Flores sweeps a crossfield pass. Great pass into the onrushing McDade. He squares up Call, goes inside, outside, and then from about 8 yards he hits a shot with his left foot, only for Marr to tip it round the post. Derry dominated possession then for about 15 minutes, and they were trying to get Duffy on the left and Graydon on the right on the ball, because when they got on the ball, Derry looked really dangerous. That left really only Bohs with Akintunde up front against McElhinney and McJanet. Now, he did get the better of the 2 players probably twice in those 15 minutes, and he got a couple of free kicks, but only for the dangerous Flores to waste them and hit them over the bar. Then half-time came. There's no doubt about it. Rory Higgins would have been the happier of the 2 managers at half-time. Obviously, Declan Devine would have had words at half-time, and that showed in the first 10 minutes of the second half, because Bohs came out in the second half. They were much the brighter. Derry just couldn't get up to the intensity or the pitch of the game. And then on the 60th, well, around the 58th minute, Derry just came alive. Duffy gets a run on Horton and thinks a lovely cross over Talbot's head, and arriving on cue is O'Reilly, only for the angle to go against him, and they hit it just wide. And that really got the stadium lifted. The Brandywell faithful were on their feet, and Derry pushed on, and they dominated. O'Reilly again went very close, and then also Graydon went close with a vicious shot, which Talbot pushed just over. Then we had all the substitutions. On 62 minutes, Declan Devine had seen enough. He brought off Akintunde and put Conley on, then pushing McDade up front. Conley really was fired up. He must have been watching from the bench and saying nobody's putting in a tackle, because he literally went on the pitch within seconds, put a bad tackle on Call and got the first yellow card of the game. Then on 65 minutes, Diallo got a shot from the edge of the box. He hit it sweetly, but it just went over Talbot's crossbar. Then on 72 minutes, Bohs got a free from the right hand side. It was swung in, headed to the edge of the box by the Derry City defence, only for Kirk, the left back, to smash a volley just wide of Maher's upright. Maher came flying across the goal. He was worried, and so was Derry, but it just managed to go past. Maher would have had no chance. If that's inside the post, it's the first goal of the game. Then on 76 minutes, it was a double substitution by Bohs, with O'Sullivan and Clark replacing Cootie and McDonald. Then within a matter of seconds, Derry bring on Ollie O'Neill and Jamie McGonigal for Ben Doherty and Cian Kavanagh. Those changes really did give Derry a lift, and particularly O'Neill. He was very lively for the first 5 or 6 minutes that he came on. He broke down the left, put a great cross in for Graydon, who just missed the ball, and had he connected, it was a header into an open net. Then he burst through the Bohs defence, O'Neill did, only for Talbot to come out and smother it. One last throw of the dice on 87 minutes for Rory Higgins when he brought on Brandon Kavanagh for Graydon. Then right on 90 minutes, the Derry crowd were incensed when the ball comes up in from the right and it looks like Nowak. The ball bounces up and clearly hits Nowak in the arm. It was, to me, a stonewall penalty. How the referee hasn't seen it and give a penalty is beyond me. And again, McGrath waves away the Derry player, protests and plays on. And then of course Rory Higgins on the sideline is going absolutely mad and receives a yellow card. Then the final couple of chances of the game, again injury time was dominated by Derry City pushing for the winner. A couple of great crosses in from the left hand side. Firstly, Brandon Kavanagh flashes a header wide, and then the on-rushing O'Reilly flashes one just wide. Very disappointing for Derry, no doubt about it. Bohs came here early in the season and took all 3 points. Fair result tonight. If anybody feels aggrieved, it's probably Derry City. Much better performance at home, much more lively. Of course, we've got the 2-week break now. Both teams will be pleasantly happy with the first probably half of the season, both of them in the top 3, and we move on to the break.
This is the ExtraTime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast, and that was Gareth McGlynn on Derry's draw with the Bohemians. I have to say I thought it was a penalty. I actually don't think there was any doubt that it should have been a penalty, but it wasn't given and Bohs got a break, and that's a good draw for them away to Derry. Right, let's run through the results. We'll start with the First Division because we haven't spoken about that yet. Galway beating Wexford by 2-0 away from home. Athlone with a 1-0 win away to Kerry FC. Longford losing 3-2 to Finn Harps. Finn Harps who lost 6-0 on Monday, so they bounced back well from that defeat. Waterford overcame Bray by 3-1 at the RSC. And Cove Ramblers beat Treaty United in a Munster derby on Shannonside by 1-0. I bumped into Shane Keegan during the week on the road. Maybe that was an omen, or maybe he's just a good manager who's doing really good work. The First Division table, Galway on top on 52 points, Waterford second on 42 points, Athlone third on 29, Cove Ramblers fourth on 29, Bray Wanderers in fifth on 25, Wexford sixth on 22, Finn Harps 7th on 21, Treaty United 8th on 20, Longford Town 9th on 18, and Kerry FC are 10th on 6 points. Let's just zip through the Premier Division results again, and we'll also take a look at the table. Shamrock Rovers 4, UCD 0, Cork City 1, Dundalk 2, Drogheda United 2, St Pat's 1, Chris Forrester scoring his 10th of the season there, but unfortunately for the Saints, they didn't take any points from that match. Shelbourne 1, Sligo Rovers 1, and Derry City 0, Bohemians 0. The curse of the RTE live game strikes again. They always seem to pick the one that ends scoreless or isn't as good as other matches on that particular night. Shamrock Rovers on top on 42 points. Derry City second on 36 points. St Pat's third on 35 points. Bohemians fourth on 34 points. Dundalk fifth on 32 points. Shelbourne sixth on 30 points. Now it'll be interesting to see what they can add to the squad in the break, considering the investment and the extra money that they might have for players. Drogheda 7th on 23 points. Sligo Rovers 8th on 23 points. Cork City 9th on 21 points. And UCD rock bottom on 6 points. A bad defeat for them last night, losing 4-0. And by the way, speaking of Shelbourne, it will be interesting to see if, what do you do if you're Damien Duff? Do you start now planning for having a really good squad because you can afford one? They do have a good squad, but they're not a league-winning squad. But now maybe they can afford a league-winning squad. So what do? Do you buy a load of players in the window and try and transfer what you've been doing all the way along and change your game plan? Because again, and I stand open for correction here, but the way they play is not the way a dominating team plays. So how does Damien Duff plan it from here? I've no doubt he's capable of planning it, But I wonder, is there kind of a strange transition to come for the rest of the season where they switch things around, or do they get 2 or 3 players in and then they can switch with a lot of the players they already have? Maybe that is the case. That probably is the case. The podcast is out unusually late, so by the time you're listening, the programme of Women's National League fixtures are either on or over. Today, as I speak, Shelbourne taking on Wexford Youths, DLR Waves up against Treaty United, Sligo Rovers taking on Galway, Bohemians taking on Cork City, and Shamrock Rovers play Peamount. Check out extratime.com for all the information on those games. There'll be match updates throughout the afternoon, and of course match reports available on the website afterwards. Right, that's it from me, Oisín Langan. We might be back in the break with international stuff. Of course, the Republic of Ireland with 2 big games in this window against Greece away and Gibraltar at home. It's a big time for the women's team as well, who continue their planning towards the World Cup, and it's all getting very real, isn't it? It's all getting very exciting, and we will enjoy that build-up and bring you all the build-up on extratime.com. As always, you can get in contact with me via Twitter at Oisín Langan. If I don't talk to you between here and the resumption of the League of Ireland, then enjoy the break. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.